Oh, that's happening. Okay, we're good. Go ahead.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey. All right. Good
Monday.
Monday afternoon, everybody. It feels like a Monday.
It is a Monday, but it's okay. It's not too bad of a Monday.
It's a good Monday.
Yeah. I woke up and it was a good Monday.
Yeah.
And we're here and it's a great Monday. Lots of stuff going on.
I know you guys are busy.
Yes. First Monday of February. Yes. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Which is exciting, starting a new month off. It's kind of the month of love, and we're really feeling that here on Studio 10. Rochelle is going live from a roller rink because, flowers and chocolate and a nice dinner is nice, but if you're looking for something fun to do, the roller rink has some great options. Plus, like, with this weather, yesterday was really nice, seeing the sun, but it's sometimes you kind of want to be inside and have a fun activity, and roller blading and roller skating are some fun things.
It takes me back to my youth, which
Yes,
is fun.
and you know what? It's good to have a little nostalgia. So either if you are with your significant other for your 20th anniversary, or celebrating your 20th Valentine's Day together, or this is like a second date. I think it's kind of fun. You have that nostalgia of being like, I remember when I was roller skating for the first time and I held hands. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it brings that up. Or I was super competitive. I tripped everyone on the rink. Or
Did you shoot the duck? Do you know what that is?
What?
I'll show you later.
When you're like on one foot?
On, like 1 foot, you bend one like this, and then the other one is out, and you're like squatted down.
How is that shooting the duck?
I'll show you later.
Okay. All right.
I'll go into the Studio 10 and I'll try and do it.
Okay. Well,
but all the tricks. There's always somebody who did all the tricks.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's fun. That's something that.
Yeah. So they're doing a lot of fun stuff for the Valentine's Day, but there's open skate and there's other skating times throughout the day as well. So we'll give you those kind of options, because it's a good thing to kind of keep in the back of your pocket. And if the kids are like, I don't know what to do, here's something fun and different.
Well, and like if you're trying to do Valentine's Day, you're getting reservations, they're booked, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. So that's fun.
Yeah, it is.
Different.
It is different. So put that on your list. Also, if you're still looking for a gift, which is fine, that's okay. I'm not going to tell anyone. It's less than 10 days away, though. But if you want a unique gift, Fireworks Glass Studios has always some amazing stuff that are definitely made and definitely one of kind, just like your significant other. There's vases, hearts, just a little bit of everything. So we're going to go through that.
I like the ring holders.
Yes.
Those are nice.
Practical gifts.
Yes.
They're also very pretty. I'm a big fan of. And then, we usually do 10 out of 10 on Studio 10, but today we're doing 30 under 30 because a Grand Ledge native is actually on Forbes 30 under 30 list, and she is the youngest creative director for Vanity Fair. So very exciting.
Love that.
Yeah, so we're going to sit down with her, talk a little bit about her journey, get some inspiration from her as well. So that's going to be exciting to talk about. Plus, it's not someone's birthday, but we do want to give like a big special shout out to weather persons, because it's National Weather Persons Day. I'm saying that because we normally call them meteorologists, but there are different roles for everything. Justin is a meteorologist, and we're super lucky to have him and the other fabulous folks on our weather department. But we're going to dive into why is it called Weather Persons Day? Who is it modeled after? Spoiler alert, there's a balloon and lots of information, so you have to always stick around for that. We're getting a lesson from Justin that will be taking us to new heights.
I love that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I love history. So definitely dive right in for all of that starting at 3 o'clock, which is, oh my goodness, soon. So I got to get going, but I'll see you then.
All right.
Studio 10.
All right. I like how that rhymed, too.
I know. I didn't do that on purpose.
Well, here is where you can stay connected with Studio 10 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and by email. You can reach out to them and let them know anything that you may want to share with them, or maybe have some ideas, some times when you were at the skating rink back in the heyday of skating. Did you ever go skating, Justin?
I did.
Rink?
I did. Oh yeah, it was Riverside in Livonia. I used to go there all the time. It was a fun environment. Pretty cool.
Mine was LSC, Lapeer Skating Center.
Okay, very nice.
Still there, still hanging on.
I used to
smell it if I close my eyes.
Yeah, right. I used to be an okay skater when I was a kid, but it's been so long. I don't know how good I'd be.
I think I went with my niece. She had, for some reason, her 4th birthday party.
Oh, nice.
At
There you go.
Rollhaven,
Yeah.
and yeah, it wasn't the same.
Sweet.
It smelled the same. It looked the same.
Right.
I do not feel the same.
Some things
so.
never change, some things do. So
Exactly.
that's the way it is.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of things that are changing, it does not feel like February right now. It feels like
Yeah.
it's that changing season of spring.
Yeah, and we're going to feel it even more this week. I think especially we got quite a few 50s in our forecast before the week is done. It's been tough to shed some of the low clouds and fog that we've had in some spots.
Yeah.
We're starting to see a little bit of the sun peek out, but it's been taking its time today, and so we've been dragging our feet with temperatures. We are still above normal outside though today.
All right. Well, I know that earlier today, Darren was talking about a lot of fog, and we took a look at the sky cam. It looks a lot more clear now.
Yeah, it does. We're at least seeing quite a lot better visibility than we had this morning. A little bit more of that freezing fog, which we also had to start Sunday, and we'll also have to start tomorrow a little bit. And so we'll kind of peek at that as we go throughout the day. Numbers, like I said, have been dragging their feet, but 31 is our average high this time of year. We're at that number now, and I think we still got a little bit of a ways to go here heading into the afternoon as far as warming things back up. You can see the cloud cover eroding away, the low clouds that is. You can see them here on satellite radar. It's been pretty much everybody in eastern sections today, certainly, but then even a lot of Eaton County has been wrapped up in this as well. But we are seeing clearing take place, places like Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo into the sunshine a little bit more, and we unfortunately here have been stuck with those clouds, but we are still dry. It's a high pressure dominant pattern over our head, and you can see where those clouds have kind of been lingering, and there's been clearer conditions in points to our north and west in the state. They're even warmer than we are. Here are those numbers, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. We've got 31 in Lansing, 32 for Mason. Jackson and Charlotte are in the mid-30s, but Marshall's at 40, Coldwater's at 45, and you can even see over towards the Kalamazoo area where they've got that green shading. That indicates numbers that are around 50 degrees. And so we got some pretty sharp differences depending on where you're at. Now on the flip side of things, you notice off towards the east, Howell is at 30, so you got a 20-degree difference between there and Kalamazoo. And so the sunshine makes a big difference this time of year. All it is, all you need to do is poke it through those clouds and you can start to warm things up, and that's what's going on in that direction. You notice that Chicago on the flip side is at 40. They've held on to some clouds, but Des Moines at 54, St. Louis 53, and so the warm air's there. It's just a matter of whether or not you can get into some sunshine, and we have not done that today. Hour by hour temperatures here, I do think, are going to climb as the sun starts to poke out. We should still manage upper 30s in Lansing by about 5, 6 o'clock before the numbers go the other way overnight. And then we'll cool back down and bring back in some of that freezing fog. So we don't want to give you a first alert to our Tuesday morning just because we might have some reduced visibility once again, in addition to a few slick spots on the roads. A few folks have had that the last 2 mornings. Tomorrow morning, I think we get a little more of the same. But once we're burning that fog off tomorrow, which we will, we get into sunshine, we're back in the 40s on a widespread basis. And so we'll kind of peak here at the hour by hour. Again, not too much to worry about heading into this evening. Numbers will warm up in spots that do see the sun. Cool back to the 20s. There's that fog tomorrow morning. Again, it's locally dense and a little bit widespread, but it probably is not as dense tomorrow as it has been the last few mornings. It is something we will watch, and then tomorrow afternoon, I think the model temperatures are stuck a little cool here. I think we run about 10 degrees warmer than these temperatures show on the model, and then heading further out into our Wednesday, I think we see the return of some cloud cover. We'll start the day in the upper 20s to near 30 degrees, and I think numbers are well into the 40s on Wednesday, maybe even near 50 degrees in some mid-Michigan locations. And so that's what we have to look forward to. Before the week is done, we are going to be back into some spring-like warmth, and the 10-day forecast is evident of that right here. You can see by the time we get to Thursday, I've got a forecast high of 56 degrees Thursday, so that's pretty warm. Also, what's very warm is Thursday night's low of 48. That would be a record warm low temperature if that one holds.
So the low on Thursday is higher than the high on Tuesday.
Really, it's higher than a lot of the temperatures throughout this forecast, too, because we are going to come down the backside. We do late Thursday have the wind picking up a bit, but, you know, when you have a big warm-up or big cool-down this time of year, it tends to come as pressure and temperature are pretty correlated there. It tends to come with a wind shift, too. And so we'll do that heading out into Friday. We're still at 55. That's a testament to the fact that we start the day at 48 on Friday, and so it doesn't take much warming to get us to the mid-50s, and then we'll start to slowly kind of slide back down throughout the weekend. The weekend does, to me, right now look mainly dry, more clouds than sun, but numbers still in the 40s, keep us above average. Next week, a weak disturbance comes through, and that'll toss us an opportunity for either rain or snow or maybe a little bit of both as we approach Valentine's Day, we'll be right around those mid-30s, which is fairly close to normal. It certainly is closer than it has been lately and will be the next few days. Thursday at 56 would put us almost 25 degrees above normal for our high, and that 48 would be 30 degrees above our normal low, which is 18. Kind of hard to believe because we have not had a lot of cold low temperatures. It's been one of those unique years where our lows have just been so mild. And I think that's been a testament to the winter being as warm as it has been, because we haven't had a lot of really what people would consider warm days in the winter. We've had a lot of mild days where numbers have been in the 40s for highs, but we've had a lot of lows above the freezing mark, and our normal high is 31. And so that's sort of what we've been dealing with. We'll kind of just break it down quickly in the temperature trend. Compared to normal, all of these numbers are above average. Even as we slide down the slope next week to 35 on Valentine's Day, that's still above normal. I think the high by then is 33 on average, and so we're still going to be above it just by a few degrees. But the 50s to round out this week, that's going to be a sight to behold, and especially since all the snow piles are gone. Any ones that are still lingering, the larger ones, those will be long gone by the time we hit the middle of this week, and those 50s are going to give you one of those really early tastes here of the spring season, which, as we know, is still quite a ways away. We are still in early February, the first few days. And so I do think cool air is coming back, as evidenced by the end of our 10-day, and we're going to have some opportunities for snow, maybe a little rain here and there when those do come through. I don't think we go to any brutal cold, though, anytime soon. That kind of seems to be the recurring theme here, and the question that I've been asked a lot lately by folks that I see out at the store or folks who message my Facebook page. That tends to be the one that I get is, do you think we're just going to coast right into spring? No, I don't, but I also don't think we're going back to brutal cold. You know, we might have maybe by the end of February some highs in the 20s the way the trend is going, but even that is fairly normal for February. You know, we still expect to be seeing some of that, and so winter not done certainly, but it'll be nice to get a quick taste of spring here for the folks who have been looking for that. If there's not going to be snow on the ground, it might as well be in the 50s in my opinion. But if we're going to have the snow, then it might as well stay around for a bit too, in my opinion. So whichever way it's going to go, just give us the opposite.
So we did have a question. When you say freezing fog, what does that mean?
Oh, yeah. So freezing fog, to kind of just discuss it, it's essentially it's the same as fog, right? You have a air mass that's been cooled to saturation, and you have the air able to settle. But it's kind of the same way in which you get dew in the summertime and you get frost when it's cold. A clear sky, you let all that moisture settle, and it begins as dew, but then it freezes into frost. They're essentially the same thing. It's just that one freezes whereas the other doesn't, but it's the same process. So freezing fog is just the same process that creates normal fog when it's warm enough for it to just stay the vapor as fog, but then it's cold enough at the surface for that when it does kind of attach to surfaces to freeze. The good thing with freezing fog is it's not as intense as like a freezing rain or anything like that where you have major accruing on the surfaces, but you do have a few spots where instead of just being kind of like damp to the touch, they'll freeze up. And we also have some pretty cool like rime features. I know one of our meteorologists, Colton Sikoraki, shared a Facebook post where you saw some of that rime accruing on surfaces, the kind of iciness on the grassy blades and other things. That looks pretty cool when you get a nice frost up in this freezing fog. But and again, it's not a huge detriment to, I think the visibility is more impactful, to be honest, than the surfaces, but you can get a few slicker than normal surfaces. You're not going to have big pockets of black ice. You're not going to have hockey rink driving out there, but you may notice that some of the turns, the sharper turns, have just a little bit of moisture on them, and when it's able to freeze, you get just the thinnest of layers. It's not anything you're going to trip or fall down really or anything, but it's enough to maybe be sliding just a little bit, both you and your vehicle. And so on sidewalks and surfaces like that, you just want to be mindful when the fog is able to, it's just the same as normal fog, but it's able to freeze. And so that's a good question. Thanks for asking that, but those are the differences that we have. So
all right. And if you get like pictures of like a really intense fog, like maybe in the field behind your house, or you have some nice frozen fog, freezing fog, you can actually, on the First Alert weather app, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you can upload your photos and video right from there. Yeah,
it's another one of the cool features that we have on our First Alert weather app, in addition to many others. And so it's certainly a great tool to have. And as long as you can ever take as long as you can ever safely take a nice picture of the area weather that you're seeing, we would love for you to share that with us. And we like to get back to you on those too, and so I certainly do. And so please feel free to reach out with any kind of cool things that you see, or anytime you have an opportunity. First Alert Weather app is a great place that you can upload and to do those things, and so it's a wonderful tool.
So you just scroll, like there's how it looks, scroll
Yeah.
all the way to the bottom. If it's a First Alert Weather Day, you can win an umbrella. So keep an eye
That's
out
true,
for that.
and those things are pretty cool, I have to say. So
And then right underneath that, it says submit photos and videos, and you just have it, and it takes you to the page where you can submit them right from your phone, because everybody has them on their phone too.
yeah,
That's the other thing.
yeah, super cool tool, and lots of great features on it. It's frequently updated. Great one to have. First Alert Weather app.
I love it when they send in the pictures of the weather, because it can be so different. Like you said, it's a 20-degree difference between some towns, and
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. So please continue to send. Make sure you tell us where you're at too. That's really helpful for you guys to
Yeah.
know where these pictures are taken.
Right, for sure. Because if you're in closer to like Battle Creek, Marshall today, you're probably close to 45 to 48 degrees right now, and it hasn't gotten above the freezing mark yet in Lansing. It will at the top of the next hour, but you know that's just the tail of the tape, and that's how different it can be. Just a few miles, you can have 30 like it is in Howell, or you can have 50 in Kalamazoo, and so that's what we got right now. Fortunately, everybody gets into the warmth this week. Lots of 50s coming our way. Make sure you can enjoy it.
All right, thank you very much, Justin. Right now, I'm going to check in with the other Justin Kent, to see what he is working on over 90 minutes of local news, starting with First at 4.
Eaton County trial courts announced an amnesty program. Now, this amnesty program is going to help individuals settle some of those financial obligations they have to the court. It's going to be running from the beginning of March all the way through the end of May, and I'll have more on that story coming up for you guys in our 6 o'clock news.
All right, thank you, Justin. Magic of television.
Hi.
Hi.
And now we're in person.
I know, right? All right, Deanna Giles here. How are you today?
Doing good. It's been a
Good.
good day. The weather is great today.
Yes, it is. This weekend was really nice too.
Oh, yes, it was.
I had like the sun beating down on me on Saturday when I was at a restaurant, and I was like, "What is this?" But it was nice.
Oh, I was like, oh, sun.
I know. What is that thing? It's like when I have the lights on up here, I was like, "What is that thing?"
Right?
But pretty soon we'll be back in spring-like weather. But you are working on a story that I think affects a lot of people around here.
Yes.
Can you tell us about it?
Rent.
Rent.
So many people in the state of Michigan. If you're not owning, you're probably renting, whether it's apartments or homes. And the price for renting, it just continues to skyrocket.
Yeah.
So one of the things, there was a new study that came out with rent.com basically saying that Michigan is the 3rd highest for increasing rent, which is quite shocking, impacts a lot of people. Because I know there are probably, tons of people that want to come to the state of Michigan, but can't afford rent, or they're having to leave because of that. So I spoke with the Michigan Housing Authority and a housing coordinator organization who is trying to think of solutions and ways to combat this, whether it's through legislation or bills and whatnot. So that's some of the things they're working on. So I'll be having more data and
More data.
numbers that are shocking, but also really important to note. So
And I know, like, with this job, a lot of people have to look for houses and housing when you're not in the state.
Right.
Like I did. I know when I moved out of state, I was looking for an apartment and I wasn't even in the state. And
Exactly.
It's really scary. So I think a lot of people are going through that too. And when you think of high rent, you think of San Francisco, New York, Chicago. Michigan doesn't. I wouldn't really think of Michigan as
right,
increasing
and the
that
other
much.
side of that is just the rate, the increases of income are not matching up. So
Okay.
like obviously in those other areas you get paid a lot more, but things are still expensive. But it kind of, I guess, balances itself. But
Yeah.
here it's a little more different. So
Well, it affects us all. If we don't rent, we know somebody who does, and it can really impact your whole plan for like that year, or the next couple of years, if you're coming in for a job. So,
I can. So
All right.
the story will be at 5:30. So check it out.
all right, thank you very much. And as Deanna gets back to her story, I want to let you guys know that we are still doing the You're Not Alone mental health series. This is a series where we are taking stories of recovery, advocacy, survival, and getting help that you need on mental health. So you can make sure to scan this QR code right here for a list of resources and share that with someone you love who you think could use it. Then coming up on over 90 minutes of local news on First at 4, there are some new issues with the Boeing 737, so we're going to be taking a look at that. Plus, we are on verdict watch for Jennifer Crumbley. The jury has been in deliberation since this morning. They have come back twice today already for clarification on a couple of things with the judge. So we've come back to court. Both prosecution and defense, along with Jennifer herself, have returned to the courtroom twice now as the judge is giving clarification on a couple of things for the jury. So we have Tanaya Jordan watching that for us. She's going to have more at 5 o'clock as the deliberations are continuing. Plus, like Deanna said, we are going to be looking at the Michigan ranking 3rd highest in rent increases. And at 6 o'clock, a commercial redevelopment district is on the agenda for the Langsburg City Council as they are holding a public hearing. So we'll have all of that coming up a little bit later at over 90 minutes of local news. I'll be back here as soon as we see any movement in the Jennifer Crumbley trial. So stay tuned on air and online.